world
just
problem.
like,
It's a
fuck.
completely justifiable problem to bitch about. It's like, you can straight up just tell that they just didn't want to deliver your package.
Oh, I know. And I'm sitting here like, it's a good thing those weren't like life-saving meds I needed or something, because then I'd be uber fucked.
Yeah, right. It's just like, it's a first world problem, but it's not like, oh, a package I ordered didn't arrive when they said it would arrive. It's literally someone's too fucking lazy to do their goddamn job that they're being paid by my tax money for.
And they don't even make a believable lie out of it. I
Yeah,
think that's what I'm more upset about. If you're gonna lie about it, pick something better than
just
couldn't access delivery location.
You
right,
should
just be
kill
like,
them.
oh, you know what, the truck fucking broke down, or the
Do
late
it.
delivery, or
Or
some
you
shit. It's
could
just
even
like,
say there were dogs, because we now have dogs that do kind of roam the neighborhood
yeah,
sometimes. It's like, okay, our dog doesn't go outside anymore without supervision because I've told you guys that he'll eat people's faces off if he given the chance, right?
based.
Nice. Based. Very based.
Yeah.
Throw him into the post office then.
If you're not family, he fucking despises you.
Throw him
But
into the post office.
I would
And by the
sooner
way,
believe
no amount of
it was
being at
you.
Max's house will fix that. I spent a week hanging out with Max, and that dog, nope, didn't give a fuck. You are not the family. You will get your face eaten.
There was a reason
Understandable.
I was like, Hatton, lock the bedroom door just in case, so I can get him outside for a few minutes.
Understandable.
Understandable.
Yeah, there's my neighbor has two dogs that are like that. And
There's a lot of dogs that are like that,
they
unfortunately.
don't put collars on them when they let them outside, so they just let them roam the neighborhood.
Oh, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's how you call animal control, and no one gives a fuck because your dog is gone now.
Yep. And my older sister has a dog as well, and we like letting him outside as well, but we have an electric fence for him, so he doesn't like run off the property. But he's a big dog, so he's confrontational about territory, and these two dogs have gone, nearly at it before with him. And my whole family's concerned about it. I'm like, just give him a spiked collar. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, give him an anti-wolfhound collar, and so when the dogs go for his neck, they fucking kill themselves on it.
Based.
I'm gonna guess they didn't react too well to that.
Actually, my stepmother looked thoughtful.
Oh my god, the one time
It's a
she
lot.
agrees with you.
I mean, yeah, those dogs have pissed off pretty much everyone in the neighborhood.
Fair enough.
But
Understandable.
Yeah, I always love too those people that are like, "Fuck you, it's my dog. You can't tell me what to do." I'm like, "Cool, fuck you. If I shoot your dog on my property, you don't get to tell me I can't do that."
come on my property to argue with me, I'm gonna shoot you too.
Based.
But yeah, no, I was just I'm at that point as well with that fucking dog, cause fuck that dog. I was also at that point with the fucking cat outside. So someone's got a fucking cat in this neighborhood, and they just let it out, like full on roam, and
Oh, what a cunt.
it had sex with a bunch of cats on our property,
Oh no.
and now it's having sex with the daughters of those cats.
Oh,
Oh, no.
oh,
Oh,
Turning
animal.
entries into family circles.
what the fuck?
Yeah,
That's a thing.
that's a thing for cats. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm
Average
just like,
iceberg.
I could just fucking shoot it.
Hmm.
I can just fucking shoot it.
Yeah, you can. Who will stop you?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
will-
what's
who will
the owner
know?
gonna do?
Who
Oh, how
will
dare
know?
you shoot my cat that was on your property having sex with more cats that you own?
What are you gonna do about it, huh? You can't unshoot the cat.
Yeah, we can't unshoot the cat.
Go on, retard.
Oh god.
Sure.
So
you can't unkill cats.
yeah, we do have one story to start off the night though. Provided to us by Aura Knight.
Oh,
And
no.
I
Lord.
can get
Who?
if you have not seen or
Who?
King, if you have
Oh, okay.
not seen this yet, I say you should not open it. Let me read it out to you, and I want you to guess.
Oh, is this the thing he posted the other night?
Yo,
Yeah,
shush. Don't say anything. I don't know this yet.
I want
Okay.
you to guess in your mind what's gonna happen next as I read this summary out, and I want you to tell me how accurate you were by the end. Because
Oh wait, is this? Oh yes.
this fucking story, I was just not ready for.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna
Oh.
ping out one more time so everyone
God.
can get ready for this. Yeah, Aura's here, good. Fate Stay Night, Chronicles of Chaos. Chaos is the new route, although you don't need to complete the other routes. Foreigner is the servant protagonist and son of Chaos. What happens when Shiro learns that this mysterious servant is in fact his long since sealed ancestor, a prophesied child who has reincarnated twice and has been given another chance at life? Watch as Naruto teaches Shiro the meaning of strength. Naruto times Ceramus.
I'm gonna be honest, I did not get from the title that this was meant to be a Naruto crossover.
Yeah, I didn't either. I actually, when I looked up to see the crossover, I was like, oh, I expected Warhammer.
And with Semiramis too. Why Semiramis?
I don't
The
know.
drunk
Yeah.
ancestor.
Semi-Ram.
I
Nope, that's
think
different
we
person.
know this
Look this up.
author's preferred waifu from Fate.
Yeah. When I first read this, I was
Lydian
just like,
Babylonian wife.
I was not ready for this summary.
That was the same for me. Someone posted like a screenshot. I'm like, what the absolute fuck is this?
Like, it just gets progressively, like, just more confusing where they're going. It's like, alright, so Chaos is the new route. You don't need to complete the other routes. I mean, it's a little bit weird. I mean, you're kind of talking about like it's some sort of game, but okay. Then you're just like, Foreigner's the son of Chaos. It's like, didn't fucking see that coming. And
I hate foreigners.
Shiro learns from his long since sealed ancestor. That's a bit weird. He's been reincarnated 3 times. So what the fuck is? It's Naruto. Huh?
Can I be honest with you guys? I fucking hate the way that reincarnation is used in stories. It's so fucking annoying. I'm so tired of seeing it.
The classic, like, you've died, now to kind of get isekai'd into this other
Yeah,
world, here's
because
your power.
Yeah, but it's that they keep calling it reincarnation. It's just, I don't know.
No, I mean, it is reincarnation.
It is, but it's not, I don't know. It's not the kind that I've studied.
You know, it's not the religious reincarnation.
Yeah, which is the one I grew up with and the one I know.
Yeah. Reincarnation, also known as rebirth or transmigration, is a philosophical or religious concept in the non-physical essence of a living being beginning anew in a new life in a different physical body after death. So I mean, unfortunately, oh wow, oh wow, thanks Reddit.
What did Reddit do?
Reddit.
Oh, what'd they do?
Why the concept of reincarnation is actually incorrect. r/existentialism.
People who claim to have been reincarnated. What is your story?
I'm sorry, we have to click this.
Oh god.
I don't think I've been reincarnated, but I clearly have many memories that aren't mine.
Uh-huh.
Cringe.
Max can only think about the post office right now.
Fucking Reddit. So yeah, anyway, 18 chapters, a respectable 200k words. So that's about, what would you say?
But for only 300 favorites.
Yeah, that is the other thing. And this story has been ongoing over the course of the past 2 years, which, you know, that's about 1 chapter every 1.5 months, and that chapter itself is around 20k words. Oh, so 10k words, 11k words? Yeah, around 11k words every 1.5 months. That's not a bad chunk for the update rate. The fact that it only has 300 favorites does not, and only 68 reviews, not reassuring on its quality, which, as we already know, is probably bad. Yeah. Yeah, not great. Now, I will say, so I was doing some yard work today. Hello, Isley. I was doing some yard work today, and my brain as it does when I'm doing manual labor, kind of just goes over arguments I've had with people in the past and is like, oh, this is a flaw in their argument. You should say this next time someone fucking opens their mouth. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good point, Brain. And I was going over the whole, it's fan fiction, anything can happen argument. And I was like, there is something I can actually respond to obstinate people with on that one. Because, you can argue, reasonable logic with some people, right? But most people that stick by the whole fan fiction, anything can happen, are really in that area of denial where they have to believe in that idea to justify their absolute retarded ideas about whatever their story they want to see happen. And that counterclaim would be, well, yeah, I could also write into my story that Naruto trips on a rock and dies, but that's not interesting. But you can't get mad about that though, because it's fan fiction. Anything can happen. Like, yeah, it's not a good story is not a good story. Just because it can happen doesn't make it a good story. Not because everything can happen in fanfiction. I know, Caesar. I've had a lot of people try and argue that one with me. I've been banned from some Discord servers because they couldn't accept that fact.
I mean, to be fair, you don't always argue in the most polite of fashions.
I start off in the polite of fashions.
Do you?
I mean, I did on Shiro's server.
I think the term you're looking for specifically, Atin, is civil.
Yeah.
I mean,
you can be
you can
polite.
Yes, you know what? You're right.
In your
You're
argument.
right, Max.
Yeah, you can politely be a cunt.
I mean, yeah, I was maybe a little bit dickish in my politely worded arguments on Shiro's server. But, I started off, like, polite, but when people were just like, no, my character needs a 15-inch penis! It's like, buddy.
You have a problem.
You have a problem.
I can't help but feel that you're compensating for something, sir.
Hold on, can you say that one more time? You, exploded on my headphones.
Yeah.
You were saying that some authors tend to overcompensate.
Yeah.
In, a literal sense? Or,
yes, yeah.
Okay.
Their self-insert, their OC, which is totally not a self-insert, guys. It's not a self-insert. Stop calling it a self-insert.
Guys, I swear.
Has a 15-inch penis and gets 19 women within just by breathing.
But here's the thing. Here's how you know these guys have never had women before. Who would want this many women? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no.
I have trouble talking to more than a few at a time without wanting to kill myself.
Yeah. Some people can just be dumb. Also, some people can't learn to go, well, I disagree, but let's move on. Well, see, the problem with that, Caesar, is a lot of the times these arguments I have with people about, quote-unquote, it's fanfiction, anything can happen, are usually born out from me offering critique on their written word. Where I'm like, oh, that idea doesn't make a lot of sense, or, that thing, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Why would Hiruzen sign off on a law requiring requiring Naruto to be raped by every civilian every day?
What?
That's a very odd and specific law.
I've had some weird fucking arguments with people, okay?
What argument? What the fuck?
Dude, fucking Shiro's server is something else, okay?
I wouldn't know. I don't really go on there. I'm still on it, I think. I just never go in there. Mainly because it's so big, I just don't feel like trying to fucking go through it.
Yeah, we both got kicked from it, but I think we've been allowed back. But why the fuck would I go back to that fucking shit?
Yeah, I remember fucking.
Wait, Toji, didn't you get banned?
Yeah, no, I did get banned, but then they changed that. They revoked that ban, and they were just like, oh, lol, we were just kidding, and you just got kicked. JK.
Yeah.
We definitely weren't abusing our mod powers by silencing someone who was speaking against us.
The guys who fucking got me banned actually apologized to me. I was actually kind of happy about that.
Oh, did they really?
What?
No, they didn't apologize to me.
Damn.
Damn.
Well, you're sneaky.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I am a minority who can pull those cards on people.
Yeah, well,
That's
only
very
certain
good.
people care
There's
about
every
that.
chance in the world, if these are the people you guys have described to me in the past, there's every chance in the world that's the only reason Tojo got an apology.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
I didn't hear you again. Cut out.
You got the apology because you're in a minority.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty
Yep.
fun.
What
Best
does
minority, by the way.
people tend to forget the number one rule of the internet is winning an argument on the internet is like winning the world's ugliest person competition. Even if you win, you're still ugly. True. But it's when it's I'm on these places,
think I
the
gotta head out,
writing
guys.
centers,
I'll talk to
writing
you later.
discords, Reddit places where people are like, hey, can you offer me, but no, Tojo's gone. Okay. People will be like, hey, can
I
you
think he's
offer
just
me?
restarting stuff.
Oh, okay. Can you offer me advice? How do I improve this chapter, etc., etc. And then I'll sit there and I'll give them advice on how to improve their chapter and how to make their characters act more like the characters they should be acting like and less like cardboard cutouts that are just saying the words the author wants them to say specifically so they can make Naruto's life so tragic and dark so he can go full evil Naruto and betray the village and then rape his mom or something because these people are fucking weird. And are definitely not projecting.
Yes,
No,
of course.
why would they be projecting?
Yeah. And they don't like the fact that I give advice like, hey, maybe stop being a chuny bitch. Better worded. More like along the lines of, well, this character is not acting like the way they should be, etc., etc., etc. This power is not a thing in this world. And, sometimes they'll correct me. I'll be like, oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. You introduced that in this chapter here. I see. Understandable. Okay. But more often than not, they don't appreciate my advice because they just came there to be criticized, but the criticism they wanted to hear was your story is great, I love it. And they didn't get
Indeed.
that from me. So what's that? What's the fucking Jesus panel meme? They hated him because he told the truth.
Yep.
Yes.
And then they all started singing Linkin Park lyrics loudly. Yeah, pretty much. Crawling in my crawl, yada yada yada.
And so on and so forth.
Wake me up inside, blah blah blah. Unknown. Many eons ago, I was born among the stars. My purpose unknown, and actions created an entire world. What? My purpose unknown, and actions created an entire world? Author, that's not a sentence. What?
No, but it probably sounded cool in their head.
Yeah. I was disappointed with how the ones I created turned out. Okay.
Oh.
Although
Okay,
the
but why though?
humans...
Can you imagine if God just descended from heaven and just everyone on the planet heard, I am so disappointed in every last one of you?
Well, I mean, that would just be sounds like a skill issue.
I mean, true, but
Well, that's also something that's happened a couple times in the Bible, so.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if that ever happened IRL, literally the internet would reply with a variety of memes that boil down to get good and sounds like a skill issue. Although the humans often contradicted one another and attempted to learn.
What?
That's the sentence. What? I am... Hold the fuck up. I am way too sober for this.
Agreed.
This has got to be rectified immediately. Well, that's the last of that bottle. That was a good bottle. It was batch 28. Pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
As long as it's a good bottle, that means it wasn't wasted.
Exactly. Pour the honey in. Doctor. Right.
Yes. Delicious.
Delicious. Indeed. Am I boring compared to what you usually read? Chapter 1 is in the hashtag fanfiction writing Discord. Ah. Yeah, we'll get to that next. We'll build up this podcast with this story, and then be like, hey, alternatively, we actually have competent people.
Who's been slowly improving since he started tuning in from time to time.
Indeed. The biggest disappointments were the ones that called themselves a king and a deity.
King and a deity.
A singular king and a singular deity, yes. Interesting.
What's a king to a god?
They feared my power and sealed me away, leaving me with only one option. To give birth to you.
Are we having a fate stay night situation?
What?
Are we having a fate stay night situation, ladies and gentlemen? Is that what's going on?
What the fuck?
This is Stay Night Naruto crossover, so
Yeah.
I would assume so.
Yes, okay. Well, then we're dealing with Mordred. Interesting.
I am just absolutely fucking baffled by this. Yes, I am a being of incomprehensible power. I have given birth to the planet Earth. Also, somehow I, a being of incomprehensible power, have been sealed away by a man who dare calls themselves a king.
How did this happen?
Interesting. You were born with the face of a human and raised by the children of those who sealed me away. I'm a being of incomprehensible power. Call me Bob. Bob the Builder.
Silence.
You learned! You grew! You developed conscience! When you learned to create, you also learned to destroy. Never once did the ones who raised you consider you anything less than a normal child. Some fucking how. Then the day came when you too were sealed away as the demigods feared your power and origin. Wait, but I thought they didn't know.
I thought nobody knew. I thought that was the whole point.
Several millennia passed, and then you were released from confinement. You knew what had to be done, and with all of your might, you had helped your parents defeat the one known as the Demon King and the Supreme Deity, ending their reign of power. No matter how much they begged and offered, you turned a blind eye and stripped them of everything. What the fuck?
That's kind of.
This sounded
weird.
like he just stripped a bunch of fortune cookies sound-wise. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Time passed and I returned. That is, when you introduced me to the child known as King Arthur. Although the child did not believe in me, he did not fear me, or believed I could create evil despite the name the humans had given me. I admired Arthur's will and sympathy and gave him my power. Thus the first king of chaos was crowned.
It just gets worse and worse, just like the summary.
For many years, peace had finally come. you made friends, forged bonds, and watched as your family grew with the addition of the one known as Tristane. So in time, you too realized your life is not infinite, so you passed on. Wait, what? What? In time, you realized you grow old, so you died.
I mean, to be fair, there's been some stupid fucking statements in Fate that are like that.
That's like, what, he just like woke up one day, he's like, oh my god, I grow old. Ugh.
And suddenly the ravages of time caught up.
Just like he went from like 20 to 80 in a second and just died.
Sounds like a skill issue.
Yeah, man, you just
I mean,
gotta...
in the world of Fate, it is actually a skill issue, seeing as there's so many fucking immortals.
You just have to parry the age, dude. Like, come on.
Yeah, come on, dude.
the,
Counter that shit.
The quick time event is easy. You
Get good, scrub.
Just press down, the idiot.
Just hear Fox Reflector constantly going off.
Pulls out gun, parry this casual, parried. Why the fuck do I play this game?
Pulls out shine.
Spin
I
shine.
mean, the best part about that is some mad bastard discovered you can in fact parry arrows perfectly.
Yeah.
And then you take no knockback. So technically
and the enemy
speaking,
pulls out a machine gun. Me multi-shining. Lol. Lemao.
indeed. So technically the best option for dealing with the Archer Hell at Anorlando is to get good and parry them, because then they can't knock you off.
Just
I thought the
parry
best
the
way to deal with it
arrows.
was just fucking run through.
Wait, is this actual tech in Dark Souls 1 that was
Yes.
discovered recently?
Yes. Well, not recently, but here, hold on. Max, I'm gonna pull up the video for you.
2015? Why has no one told me about this before now?
I see.
Probably because you didn't really need it.
Like,
Oh.
this is
I'm
absolutely,
gonna just leave this in meme.
sitting here, I realize that's what this one is. As the guy just consistently parries the fucking heavy arrows.
I'm just gonna leave this in memes and shit posts. I've time-stamped it at the correct time.
Well.
Yeah, they're just doing it with, they're not perfect parrying it, but they are doing it with their fist and proving to you, yeah, you can just do this. Zero knockback.
Oh my god. I'm actually upset. The hours, Sneaky. The hours we were stuck at that fucking in Orlando.
Alright, so you just blitz forward, and then I'll run behind you.
You mean that's not how you deal with that?
Arrow meant for me.
You just blitz past everyone and then,
Yes, indeed,
parry
Aura,
them.
thank you. Well, yeah, did you guys not know about this? When you get to New Game +9 on Dark Souls 1, Gwyn pulls out a handgun and says, parry this, you filthy casual.
Yeah, I mean, he's just tired of your shit.
Yeah.
You parried him for 8 games.
Yeah, and you
Time
know,
to end it.
yeah. Holy shit, that's some massive fucking spacing, goddamn.
Jesus.
Ah, I see we're going with 2.5 spacing instead
Indeed.
of double spacing.
I see we're going with the my teacher told me to write a 5-page essay spacing. Oh god. Oh god. Oh no! Oh fucking no!
You might even want to know.
You were born again as a human with no recollection of your past life. You were given the name Armstrong, a family of soldiers.
No.
Here you lived in Armstress, with the humans called an alchemist, specifically the strong arm alchemist. You helped your older brother and elder sister defeat the one known as homunculi and overthrew the corrupt government. Blah blah blah. Once again, pre-peace. Once again, you realize you grew old and died. That is when the one known as Truth came to you at the hour of your death. He told you the truth about us, your origin and existence, and how your job was far from over. As you had helped the Full Metal Alchemist seal away the homunculi, you are to help in another time. One where shinobis and warriors dominate the nation. Oh, God. Oh, no, it gets worse. No, please, no!
Certified bro moment.
From here, you were born among 3 children to the leader known as Hokage. Your siblings were given the power of chakra, a source of energy along with the dark powers that came from the large beast known as the Kyuubi no Yoko. Your siblings were praised as heroes, yet you remained chakraless. It did not matter, as you did not have the power of chakra to attempt the silly abilities known as jutsu. You instead came into contact with the power of mana and the ability to use magic, which had remained dormant. Although arrogant and supposedly talented, your siblings ignored you and believed themselves better. However, this changed when you discovered your powers and slowly awakened your mana bloodline. You are not my only child, for you are a demon and a goddess. Siri, this is so sad. Play Crawling in My Crawl. Your parents loved you, and your godparents couldn't always help you, but they tried hard. Your life was calm despite the arrogance of those in power, and it did not matter as you slowly regained your memories of all of your previous lives. And then you have remembered your purpose, and as much as you enjoyed your life, you had purpose. The one known as Zelrich opened a gate for you. Oh, of course Zelrich just showed the fuck up and opened a gate. Okay.
Why not?
As he does. Why not? Why shouldn't he be able to open a gate? What's wrong with you, dude?
Fucking, I want whatever drugs this author is on.
They're probably banned in at least 13 states.
Good. Opened a gate for you and told you about all the other problems across space and time. So taking so much as the clothes on your back, you left. Years turned into millennia, and this time your life never ended. When the time came, you questioned your beliefs and purpose. For a brief time, you wallowed around, wondering when someone would grant you your wish. Every time you would help someone, no one would help you. Then you realized that it was out of your hands and there was no way to return home of your current life. Then one day, Zelrich led you to one last place, a nation known as Assyria. For here you sighed and wonder what purpose did the strange man have you do this time. It was tedious description, and little did you know you would fall in love with Ceramus.
Why do I have a small feeling that I should murder?
Hello, Dorothy Gaming.
Who's this Dorothy Gaming?
This is a.
I suggest you run while you can, but
this is a Naruto Fate Stay Night crossover in which Naruto is Shiro's ancestor And he's dating Ceramus.
We don't know either.
We're just as confused as you. Yes.
Honestly,
you
probably
fell
even
in-
more confused than you.
Oh God, why can't anyone say my name right?
Well,
I don't think Sneaky's trying, to be honest.
I'm a little bit drunk and I'm not even
which,
trying.
to be fair, is more than he can ever. Which is, to be fair, more than he usually does.
Yeah,
I mean, it says Dorothea. I mean,
Dorothea. There's only one O.
Didn't you call them Dorothy?
Yeah, it might be Dorothy.
Dorothy?
Yeah.
Dorothea. I don't get why that's so hard. Alright.
Alright. I don't know.
Understandable.
Yes, love! The manner of two people finding attraction in one another. How would you usually say the name Thea and then Dorothea?
Yeah, just give it up. It's not gonna get any better.
You should see me you should see me pronounce the Japanese names.
Oh God.
Oh, that shit's hard.
Well, if they stick around
Sure.
long enough.
I could drink to that.
Cheers. I'll drink to that as well.
It was the most difficult assignment for you, and little did either of you know. Finding love was the most difficult assignment? Author, you are fucking confusing the shit out of me. This love would prosper, and for one day, the two of you forgot the troubles of the world. And then another day, you had children, and then all things come to an end. The gift that was
Is it
once
supposed to be like a fucking second person story or something? Like you.
I
What the
mean,
fuck?
apparently this is supposed to be some sort of prescriptive narrative or something, where this
Yeah.
omnipotent being who is somehow sealed away is telling you,
Your story.
the OC, your story, yeah. Or us, yeah, I don't... Yeah.
Yeah.
The gift that was once used to symbolize your love was taken and used as a weapon to trap you once again. Now time has passed, and with that I have rambled enough. It is now time for you to join the human and complete the task ahead of you, my child. It's time to awaken.
Awaken my masters.
No.
Yeah, actually, that's pretty much what's happening right now, so...
Oh.
Yep.
Interesting. Author, may I make a suggestion?
Shiro was just too reckless and unpredictable. With that, he saved the life his saber-class servant from near decapitation from a berserker and near destruction from Archer's blast. By being unpredictable? With that, he was able to drag her away and save the life of his servant, but at a cost! He took an injury from Berserker's weapon. What, did he, like, stand too close to the blast radius? Because fucking hell, getting hit with that weapon would be like removing the arm.
Arrow to the knee.
If this is the Fate or Unlimited Blade Works route, he just got disemboweled with the axe just grazing him.
I see. Yeah.
So less a hit and more, oh, you just died a second time. Good job, dumbass.
Yeah. As Shiro managed to get the safety, Saber began to berate him for his stupidity, only to be interrupted by her master, who started coughing blood and clutching the wound on his arm. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, he got stabbed in the arm, so he starts coughing blood. A classic.
Yes, of course.
Yes, I've missed this anime logic.
I always love it. It's like, how do you know when someone's close to death? They're coughing blood, but they got shot in the foot. Yeah, but they're close to death, so they cough blood. It's a natural human response to dying. Is your lungs fill with blood? Don't you know? You excrete blood in your lungs when you get close to death.
I mean,
Well,
we also have backup
mean-
lungs in the arms. We just don't talk about
Ah,
it.
yes, all the arm lungs.
True.
Yeah, well, you know how it is.
Arm lungs. Now that's some Space Marine shit.
World War I Germans don't use the shotguns. They aren't fair. World War I Americans loading shotgun. Shame.
Lol. Lamau.
It's mustard gas time.
No, there will be no war crimes in this channel.
It's not
Unless
a war
you're a
crime the
gunman.
first time.
Exactly.
Yes, but Sneaky, this isn't the first time, so you're wrong.
It was for the Germans.
Well, you're
True.
not German.
Yeah.
Well, that's racist of him.
When has that
Dutch.
ever stopped Sneaky before?
True.
I'm actually the worst German because I'll control the spice trade.
Oh god, he's Dutch. Oh no.
Rin dashed forward to berate Shiro, and then until she noticed the injuries. Did he get hurt? She asked.
Oh, he just
don't
brought
I
it
have
and
a-
hacks
I
up
They
have
the
a
lung.
appear to be
fucking
coughing
hole.
blood. I wonder if they're okay.
I mean, to be fair, this is Saber.
Your arm's falling off and you're coughing up blood. Did you get hurt or something?
It's just a scratch.
It's
Don't
a
worry, man.
scratch.
What are you, some kind of weakling?
It's a
but a
flesh
scratch.
wound.
It's just a flesh wound. That movie is so great.
I actually want to see a Black Knight Shiro after summoning Saber.
Oh yeah.
Where Saber's just like, alright, well, Shiro, if you are intent on being an absolute fucking dumbass, let me teach you the way of the Black Knight. An ancient, style from Camelot. And then just, like, pans down to later in the timeline and, like, fucking, like, Berserker, like, chops his arm off or something. See, brother, you're dying now. No, I'm not. Your arm's off. No, it isn't. It's right there on the ground. No, it's not. I dropped it.
Now, see, the problem with that is, I can only whenever I hear Black Knight, I can only think of what may be the best boss theme to ever come out of a Fire Emblem game.
I see. Understandable.
I just like that part of Saber's training there was making Shiro start speaking British.
Oh, of course.
It's part of the spell.
It also involved the final test was to have a limb severed
Indeed.
and ignore it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Of course.
Okay,
Just a
well,
flesh
so
wound.
here's the thing. Technically speaking, if he had enough mana, he could make a spell out of being a Black Knight. Your arm's off. No, it isn't. Arm's back on. What?
Just projects a new arm.
Well, either he projects a new arm, or he ignores reality so hard that reality
Oh, fuck,
decides, nah,
Max.
his arm didn't get cut off.
Max!
Uh,
you can use that,
wait.
Max!
No,
Shiro makes
No,
a true
Shiro-
magic.
no, Shiro
But-
can do that because no one's explained that he can't do that with his magic. He could technically accomplish that.
Yeah.
Yes, that's my point.
Yeah.
Shiro
Oh,
ends up creating
fuck.
a true magic that only works on him.
I love that the only thing stopping Shiro from being an actual threat worthy of a proper ceiling designation, even without Ren's help, is that he's a third-rate mage.
Yeah. He's actually so bad at magic that despite him being beyond fucking broken, no one bothers trying to seal or kill him.
Yeah, well, part of that's because Ren is trying to hide what his tracing actually does. But even then, it's like, I'm not hiding because they would see you as dangerous. They'd want to dissect you to figure out how you did this.
Great, now my brain is conjuring this whole, like, episodic format of, like, Shiro living in the clock tower with Ren, and like shit just like happens. Like, you know, one day he's walking by and like the fucking wall explodes and like a chunk of shrapnel goes like through his like lower abdomen or something. And the mage comes out and they're like, "Holy shit! How are you not dead?" And he's like, "What are you talking about? I saw the shrapnel go right through you. No, it didn't. What's all the blood? No, it was there when I got here."
It was there when I got there.
Just projected a new lower abdomen.
As you do.
Then whose guts are these?
Sneaky.
Not mine.
Sneaky. There's just a set of legs pinned to the back wall by a piece of rebar.
Those look like your
Whose
shoes.
legs are those?
Wow, they're right. They do look like my shoes. Well, but I'm wearing mine though, so they clearly aren't mine.
Shiro slowly drives the entire clock tower mad.
Gets shot in the head. Your head's off. No, it's not. What the fuck? Told you my head's not off. It's right here on my head. Where heads go?
No, Sneaky. Told you my head's not off. But then what are you holding there? I don't know. That's Jim's head. Hi, Jim.
Turns it into a fucking pumpkin.
Shiro accidentally clones himself.
Funniest thing I've fucking seen.
Rin, I turned my clone into a fucking pumpkin. It's the funniest shit I've ever seen.
Why does that sound like something a Primarch would do?
It's a fucked up Primarch.
I didn't say you were wrong.
I don't know. I think that would actually be a funny, like, fanfic. Black Knight Shiro.
It probably would be.
Oh
You should
god,
get started on it.
no. This convo brings up bad memories from a fanfic on questionable questing, where Shiro is on the run due to Rin making a mistake and bragging about Shiro at the clock tower, and then it devolves into NTR.
Ooh.
I can see why the author would be ashamed of it.
What the fuck?
That's one of those things that
What?
couldn't
fuck?
happen. You'd have to change a lot of factors to have a story starting with Rin bragging about Shiro's abilities.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like they just did that so they'd have NTR. I'm gonna be real.
But at the same time, though, it's not actually really NTR because, canonically, the harem at the end of the
UBW, the Blade Works route.
yeah, on the Braid Works route, the harem at the end of that, it's actually Rin's harem.
Oh, yeah, everyone knows that. It's not Shiro's harem, it's Rin's.
It's Rin's, yeah. So it wouldn't really be NTR if she went and fucked someone else. So, I don't know. But yeah, I'm not really interested in fucking any of this shit. Let's see, where the fuck does Naruto show up? I am
confused.
So Naruto shows up as Berserker is about to kill them both. And Berserker roars at Naruto. And the following things occur. The blonde deadpanned as his face started to get covered in black kanji. T-Rex sound effect.
Did it seriously just say T-Rex sound effect?
I wish I was fucking kidding.
Oh dear God.
Yeah, oh my.
I thought you were joking. I honestly was hoping you were joking.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, there it is. Plain as day.
Yep.
It actually says T-Rex sound effect. Oh, God. Okay, we're moving on! Holy shit, fuck that! Alright, so while we read Caesar's story, I am going to contact my younger brother.
Oh god.
Oh,
and
that poor
see
bastard.
if he has any more RP profiles for us.
Oh no.
Okay, but why though?
You've really fallen in love with that format, haven't you?
Hey, you know what, Max? We have double-digit
Bro,
views. I don't think we should mess with success.
Making fun of someone's garbage ass OC is like half of this podcast. We're just cutting out the part where they write a story about them.
True.
Well, they're still technically writing a story. It's just interactive with other people involved.
Despite that, they have no social skills.
Weird that.
Yeah, weird how that happens. Yeah, apparently does not have any more profiles to hand over to us.
Well, what good is he then?
Oh! Ah! I left the server a while back because one of the mods started doing underage sex roleplay.
Oh, good lord.
Why am I not surprised?
At least he left.
Where's that fucking meme about the Discord mods being like, hello kitten?
True.
Why you gotta bring up that meme? That meme's uncomfortable.
Because it's sneaky.
Because that meme keeps proving to be factual. And it, it was apparently a Ruby fan who did it.
Oof. Oof.
Yeah, my surprise is non-existent.
My surprise is immeasurable. Because it's so fucking non-existent. Yeah, this is not shocking information in the slightest now. Who's behind the child sex porn? It's a Ruby fan! Somehow no one's surprised.
No. Yeah.
But everyone was disappointed.
Yeah. Disappointment's just the order of the day.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I always like making fun of people's really garbage OC profiles. Hey, Arm! Why don't you go on a hunt to find a really cringy author profile for us?
Alright, sure. I will take a break from nuking the Xenos and dive.
So, we have a submission from Caesar the writer here of Chapter 1, the hypothetical alpha copy of Name Pending Ghost Story. Someone knocked on the door of the school's cleaning supplies room. I don't know how it is where you are, but the cleaning supplies room is a closet.
Yes.
In all of my schools. Now, admittedly, there was basically a janitorial room where the guy did keep a lot of his cleaning supplies on him with his, stuff, so he could just immediately roll out and clean up shit. And that usually, the janitorial room usually also ended up being, like, the boiler room and, like, the workshop where the shit gets fixed. But, a little bit weird, but we're just gonna keep going. Excuse me, Ford? Ford recognized that voice. That was Mr. Robinson, the school's lab teacher. Ah, yes, the lab teacher, the one teacher in the entire school that needs lab materials. Also the one teacher in the entire school that is banned from being with lab materials unsupervised.
feel like there's a story to that.
I don't think I've met a single teacher with access to the lab who was also not permitted to access the lab alone. I have a movie ad. Neat. Like, for example, in high school, my high school lab teacher was banned from accessing the lab materials unsupervised because the last time she did that, she threw a fist-size lump of sodium into a 1-gallon jug of water, and that jug was made of glass. And what she said before she did that was, "Hey kids, want to see something cool?"
Oh, no.
And she dunked that shit straight into the water and then dived for cover underneath the desk.
Did she do it? That's fucking great.
That's wild.
I understand why she's banned, but that's great. Like, you don't
it
do
makes
that.
sense.
You definitely don't do that, and yeah.
So the other time that she got banned, and this is the other time, this is the other reason why she was banned from lab supplies unsupervised, was she was like, "Hey guys, want to see something cool?" And she took a blowtorch to a strip of magnesium, and then as she's lighting it, she's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, don't look." And she flashbanged the entire class, except for me, because I was like, "That's magnesium!" And I fucking ducked.
Wait a minute.
Your gamer senses tingled. You understood flashbang.
No, my homemade bomb senses tingled.
Your what?
Oh yeah,
New
so
Jersey
magnesium is a great fuse for when you're making thermite bombs because it's flash point. It's got a really low flash point, but when it burns out, it's actually hot enough to set off the thermite.
Yep.
So yeah, anyway, so I saw the
New Jersey, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
New Jersey.
So yeah, thermite's fun stuff. Reminded me not to mess with you. Yeah, that should have been obvious, my dude. Just remember, if you're ever feeling safe, I'm still alive.
Run.
What the hell is going on here? That is some massive indenting you got going. This is like a what is this? This is a one indent and then a shit ton of spacing. Interesting. The school's lab teacher. He didn't answer. There was no need. Mr. Robinson let himself in. Ford recognized him all right. Still meek. Still balding. Still wearing a lab coat. One size too big.
There's a lab coat at a fucking school.
One of the students didn't have the stomach for the strong smells from today's work, and he had an accident that will lead to years of bullying? Ford asked. Robinson looked at the ground. Something like that, yeah, he said. That's okay. Cleaning up accidents is what the school's paying me for anyway. I'll grab the mop and bucket, and I'll be there in 2. Thanks. Sorry for being a bother. It's not a bother, Ford lied. He had just sat down to eat his noodles. It's my job. After Robinson left, Ford stood up, grabbed a bucket full of water and a mop, and made his way to the lab room. So this is another thing again. I don't know. It happened. I'm sorry. It's totally fine. If you're in the future, this is not a immediate issue. This is not even something you need to concern yourself about. This is just a thing. If you have a Word document and you want to put it on Google Docs, it's better to just drag and drop the document onto Google Docs instead of trying to copy paste it onto Google Docs, because the upload feature actually has a built-in conversion mechanism that translates all of the rich text format located inside your document into Google Docs equivalency. And so it transfers a lot better that way. Yeah. And it's more or less the same way. If you ever need to take something from Google Docs and make it into a downloaded file, instead of like trying to do like a save as or whatever, you just go down to download, and it gives you pretty much every single format you could ever download a Word document into. And so it makes it actually very easy to convert something between like a Microsoft Office exclusive document file type and something that any word processor could read, like a rich text format, if your whatever program you're using doesn't allow for conversion like that.
Oh my god. Alright, yeah, I have dropped a
Holy
completely
shit.
unreasonable amount of cringe. You're welcome.
Is there any specific one we should be focusing on?
Well, the latest one I posted has a pretty amazing profile, to be honest.
Alright, well, okay, that is, okay, yeah, that I see that, yeah, that's something else.
But all of them have cringe. So just pick whatever one you want.
Right, so that's the other thing I was gonna say is, again, I don't know how it works in where you live, so don't let me correct you if you're writing from personal experience. But pretty much everywhere I know doesn't use the whole mop and bucket scheme. Pretty much any public building or private building these days, in America at least, uses the Rubbermaid rolling bucket, which comes with a mop squeezer and all of that fun stuff. But again, like I said, don't let me like stop you from writing whatever locale you have. If it's just a bucket of water and a mop, then it's just a bucket of water.
I mean, I think pretty much every single place has.
I mean, maybe the school's particularly cheap, or the janitor is particularly lazy and doesn't want to feel like rolling out the whole mop and bucket there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess,
yeah.
but
The Rubbermaid. Rubbermaid is a very large company, Isley.
They do just like.
I wish the Army had that. Well, that's just because the U.S. Army wants to make you suffer. There's a completely different.
Yeah. Honestly, if you like, this is gonna sound dumb, but so because I like work for a company as part of purchasing, I did the MRO stuff, the maintenance, repair, and operations purchasing for a while. You can just go to websites like Granger.com or MSC or whatever. Like, if you're ever trying to find out about this kind of stuff, you can just go look at places like that, and you can find all the weird ass shit they have for janitorial professionals to make your life easier.
Yeah, it'll look similar along these lines. This is the Rubbermaid mop and bucket line.
But let's be clear, there's 1,000,001 knockoffs of this thing.
Oh yeah, obviously there's good jabillion knockoffs of it, but pretty much everyone uses something like this because honestly, it's incredibly cheap. It's like, was it like $25 at the local?
Oh god, Sneaky, just hit the shopping tab. Oh, that's like a Google thing, but just go like look for the price of it, like.
Yeah, no, I understand, Caesar. I'm just, like I'm saying, I'm not trying to be prescriptive. I'm trying to be proscriptive. Because again, sometimes this is where you can get clever when it comes to writing. Is you can actually specifically say mop and bucket to then later use that as mounting background evidence to set the scene of the school. They only have one lab teacher. The janitor's using a bucket for his mop instead of a Rollermaid.
Well, I was gonna say include some other description, like
right, but
the mop is old
detail,
and worn.
Yeah, it's a single detail among many, but it helps you set the scene when you use specific words.
Yeah.
If you're trying to not even if you're trying to do it, if it just helps you set the scene of like, oh, I want this school to be, more archetypical of like a rundown public school, low on funding, not able to maintain the building all that well. You know, the janitor's a lazy piece of shit who doesn't even bother taking soap with him. You know, that
He's
sort
going
of
bad the
thing.
way he lived.
Dad the way he lived. Reading porn.
The janitor who is incredibly lazy, but also at the exact same time knows how to fix literally everything within like 2 seconds.
Indeed.
But see, that's when you're not paying for the amount of time that they spend working, you're paying for their expertise.
Fair.
I mean, you're still probably overpaying them, but, you know.
He hadn't been the school's janitor and live-in groundskeeper for too long, so the school's layout was still a tad unusual, but not completely foreign to him. Although sometimes he wondered if there were other cleaning supplies rooms in other buildings. There were 3 buildings, connected pathways of fake marble nested in yards that were pretty green, whatever the season it was. Each building was around 4 stories high. Their first floors had classroom windows looking out over the yard and to the chain link fence that surrounded the whole property. Alright, I give you a 50-50 on this description. You did at least caveat the whole description with the fact that he's basically just like going, you know, this is my, you know, I'm kind of new here. This place is kind of confusing. You know, I've only known about this one cleaning supply room. I wonder if there's anything in the other buildings. The reason why it's a 50-50, because you did caveat it well. But I will say there was a bit too much description going on for him just thinking about other cleaning supply rooms in the buildings. And if you're trying to tell it from like his perspective, because earlier you did the whole you did the whole in narrative character thinking thing, which is basically where we hear the character's thoughts and they're not listed as thoughts because the character is telling the narrative. Then this part here is a little because it doesn't really, thank you. It doesn't really mesh with him thinking about the other buildings and the cleaning supply rooms that might be in those buildings. Like, why would he think about, oh, the building's only 4 stories tall? But if you rephrased it to be like, surely there must be other cleaning supply rooms in these 4-story tall buildings. Surely this wasn't the only one. Obviously, I'm overemphasizing and exaggerating here, but to give you the idea of like, if you're going to phrase narrative in the way a character thinks, but you also want to do an info dump, it's best to try and incorporate that info dump into how they're thinking. Because what happens here is the first half of the paragraph is the character thinking and it being, you know, pretty fluid. You know, it's like, ah, shit, you know, I've only been here for so long. These halls are not quite familiar to me. You know, man, I wonder if these, you know, there's other cleaning supply rooms. We got 4 buildings, but we only got 1 cleaning supply room as far as I know. Like, that's all organic thought. But then it goes into like, oh yeah, then there is fake marble connecting all of the buildings and the chain link fence that surrounds the buildings, and the buildings are 4 stories tall. And it's kind of, like I said, it comes off like a little bit just info dumpy. Yeah. So stuff more in line with that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the more you get used to just trying to keep the narrative consistent, the more mistakes you actually can make. I know, it's kind of like oxymoronic, but the flow of the story is your best friend. Because the flow of the story can cover up countless issues as people are reading the story, and it's only when people stop, go back, and start trying to reread certain parts because, like, they forgot something, or they read something and then went and said, "Hey, wait a second, what about back here where the character said they couldn't shoot laser beams and now they can." The flow of the story can cover up so many things. And the more you just get in the habit of keeping the flow going and finding that pattern, however that character thinks, how that character talks, how that character puts importance on certain things, the more you can just find that flow for the narrative, the more mistakes you can actually make without people ever really noticing or caring about them. Because they'll come up with their own justifications and dismiss them. And it won't take them out of the immersion of reading the story. Right.
Did everyone just cut out or something?
No, just no one
No?
else is talking.
I heard
there's not a ton to add,
audible-
unfortunately. Like,
Yeah, I heard an audible pop from your mic, Sneaky, but
Yeah, that's because I muted it so I could blow my nose without, doing it into
Fair
the mic.
enough.
Yeah.
Understandable.
And there's the laugh shift bell. Damn.
The laugh shift bell?
Last shift.
The last shift.
Yeah, it should be last period. He made his way through the building, swimming through swarms of kids desperate to go back home, and he could still hear some teachers lounging in the corridors, talking about how much they loved tensing error right here, and we're going to miss. The old janitor, actually, so it wouldn't be actually we're going, how much they loved and missed. Because going would imply that the old janitor is already leaving. But the fact that the new janitor is here would imply that the janitor already left. So how much they loved and missed the old janitor is if we're going. Yeah. And about Veronica from room 5B getting drunk at his retirement party. Something about him pushing 70. Ford didn't care, so he didn't put too much attention onto the small details. Ford still thought that he had been very lucky to find the job offer when he did. Never mind the fact that he actually got the job. The school didn't even care he had no papers or ID on him. From what he could tell, no one else wanted the job. He didn't know why, and he didn't care
it
enough
must be
to
a job
ask.
in California.
Exactly.
Yep.
I told you it was normal and boring. Hey man, normal and boring is just fine with us. Woo! That last bit, woo! That was a spicy bit. Woo! Okay, well, that's that bottle done with.
Hell yeah.
Batesville, Arkansas.
Yeah, well, wouldn't want to be there either.
Yeah, no one wants to be in Arkansas.
Arkansas?
That's what I said, Arkansas.
True.
It's pronounced Arkansas, after all.
Yeah. Hey man, if they didn't want to be called Arkansas, they shouldn't have named their state with the word Kansas in it.
True. Damn liberals.
Ford still thought he had been very lucky, blah, 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 blah. He didn't care, he didn't expect to be offered a room in the school to sleep in either. You didn't expect the janitorial room to be an actual room instead of a cramped closet. See, that's where it's like. Okay, so lesson to everyone watching. This is a part. This here. This is what can be called unreliable narrator. So in reality, janitorial rooms are actual rooms, and and like maybe not sleep-in rooms. Don't get me wrong. The janitors still sleep in them, but sleep-in rooms, as in rooms that you would stay overnight in, as like a sort of pseudo apartment. The whole cramped closet thing. Like even my poor-ass rural school had an actual janitorial room. And now there was closets with janitorial supplies in them, but they weren't like the janitor's closet. Like he had an actual room. So this is a part where you can actually excuse this information being incorrect by the fact that the first-person character of the story, Ford, the main character, is giving the narrative to you, the reader. And so stuff like this actually can be passed over. That was a surprise, but a welcome one. Nice meme. That meant he didn't have to worry about rent or services, because it was taking out your paycheck, effectively.
You don't need to tell him that.
He reached the lab room, and Robinson was next to the door with his arms folded, waiting for him. He didn't understand why, but he shrugged it off and opened the room. Ford pinched his nose. Ah, Jesus Christ, what the fuck did the kid eat? The stench was putrid, unlike anything he had smelled before, and he had the unpleasant experience of smelling rotting chicken once. He kept looking at the floor but couldn't see any vomit. Behind the sink countertop to the left, Robinson said from the outside the lab room. Ford guessed he found the smell unbearable too.
Well, hang on. Ford pinched my nose.
Oh, yeah.
Beginning of the last paragraph. Interesting.
Yeah, Ford reached through the screen and pinched your nose. Got your nose.
That's very forward of a coworker. I'm gonna complain to HR.
Yeah. Kind thought, but
yeah,
no
that's
thanks.
definitely HR complaint worthy.
Ford found a brown puddle and shook his head. What a waste of perfectly good nachos. Brown nachos.
Yo, if your nachos are brown, you need to consult a doctor immediately.
Yeah, goddamn.
And also a health inspector.
He pulled the mop and put it in the puddle of semi-digested food, and when he saw a single drop of something fall from above and into the puddle, then another, and then another, then a third one. He raised his eyebrow and looked up. Wait a minute, what the fuck? Ford shouted. There was vomit on the ceiling. How? Projectile vomiting. Robinson's response echoed through the open door. That's not a good enough reason, Ford shouted. Whoever did this is not alright. It took him half an hour to clean the whole thing, and he cursed under his breath the entire time. It would have taken him longer, but he found a stepladder in the adjacent room's closet. It took him an extra half hour to get rid of the smell for good. Way too much bleach. Ford hated every second of it, but even so, to him, still not as bad as being unemployed and sleeping on a random park bench, being serenaded by his empty stomach gurgling. At the very least, he could afford food, had a roof above his head, and since he was allowed to live in the janitor room, had a hammock and minor health benefits. Sure, the janitor room was cramped and it always smelled of something funny and fake coconut aroma, but all he had to do was make sure the place was clean, answer whenever someone knocked on the door and needed help, and walk around the campus every hour after the night classes ended to make sure nothing was amiss. Okay, that part's a
This
little
man
bit
is
weird.
dead.
Yeah,
this
that's
man's
a
going
red
to die.
flag, yeah. Not the best living ever, and free time was lacking, but it would do. Or so we thought. Ford really missed having free time, however. That one still stung. He had to look around town for his Lamborghini Contempt. Conche? He missed his friends and his real home a lot. By the time he was able to get back to the janitor's room and sat back down to finish the noodles, they had sucked all the stock, gone cold, and then turned into mush. He sighed, closing his eyes to ignore the horrible, greasy, mushy texture and forced him to eat them anyway. He burped. The lingering, oily aftertaste didn't help either. If only I had a soda or something. Crap. He thought about going to the nearest dispensing machine, but before that, he checked his pockets for loose change. He was shocked at how little there was. Yeah, not happening. There was another knock on the door. Excuse me, Ford. It's Robinson again. Ford closed his eyes and inhaled deeply and counted to 10 in his head. Don't get mad, don't get mad. Paying you to do better than going hungry.
I mean, those are some hella hour. Like, you're gonna be getting some hella overtime if they can just knock on your door at any time, bro.
He's basically just a fucking live-in janitor.
Live-in janitor plus security guard plus groundskeeper plus on-call. So yeah, they're gonna be paying you some fucking crazy money.
They better fucking pay crazy money.
He stood up, walked to the door, and opened it. Yeah? I couldn't help but notice you were having dinner before I rudely interrupted you. Okay? Again, it is my job. I'm starting to get annoyed. Even so, as an apology, here. Robinson pulled a Ziploc bag from one of his lab coats and an orange soda bottle from another.
Oh shit, he's gonna give him the shrooms.
He's giving him the shrooms. He's giving him the laced crack.
It's Mr. White.
My mother gave me 2 lunches. Alright. My mother gave me 2 lunches.
If you have the luxury of living at home,
you can have one. Ford half smiled as he reached for both the Ziploc bag and the soda. Well, I'll never say no to free food, thanks. Stopped halfway through. Wait. Did you just say that your mom made you lunch? Robinson blinked hard. Huh? Was he distracted? Ford couldn't tell. But after asking the question, he realized that Robinson might be living with his mother. If that was the case, without a doubt, it couldn't be something he was very proud of, especially since Robinson must have at least been Ford's age, if not older. Better if I just drop it altogether, I thought. It's nothing, never mind. Ford looked at the Ziploc bag and the soda. You know what, Mr. Robinson? You're a real bro. You didn't have to do this. Thanks again. Alright, so, another little bit here. I don't know if this is intentional or not, but it's a great time for another English lesson and a social lesson.
Those are more important than English lessons.
A little bit. So, one adult, especially as you say here, Robinson's about as old as Ford. One adult would never use Mr. when referring to someone else unless they are a superior or they're talking to a child. It's always John, Alex, etc. First name here. The only time in my entire life I've ever seen an adult use Mr. when referring to someone else, especially in direct conversation with said person, is when they're in front of a child and they're kind of trying to be like, hey, child, look, I am calling them Mr. Robinson. This is a, professional thing. You're trying to get the child to call them also Mr. Robinson. An ex-teacher critter stated a janitor would always use Mr. when talking to a teacher. as a sign of respect. Maybe when the maybe when the kids are around. Yeah, what do I know? Do you feel me? Yeah, I get what you're saying, man. I do. Like I said, this is like there's a lot of cultural stuff in there too. You know, different cultures have different levels of respect, and I don't even mean like this in a way of like, oh, American culture and non-American culture. I mean, even local cultures.
Yeah, there's a lot of local stuff that happens.
Because here in the South, we do use misters with other full-grown adults, but they're usually much, much older.
Yeah, right, exactly, yeah. Like I said, there is exceptions to that. When, you're talking to your boss, you're talking to, you're talking in front of children, you're trying to talk to someone very formally. Yeah. It's just, as a northerner, as one of them damn northerners,
Damn Yanks.
The heathens that you are.
Yankees.
as they're called. It's just very weird to me. I mean, hell, I've been talking to a couple of guys today that I literally just met today, and they're like, head of hiring and shit for some other businesses. And they're like, oh, yeah, my name's Jake. I'm just here calling you. And I'm like, oh, hey, Jake, what's up? And he's like, yeah, I got a job for you, man, if you're interested. And I'm like, oh, I'm totally interested, man. What's the job? And, like, that's just kind of how we interact. Even though he's going to be my theoretical boss in the future, even when I was up in Vermont, I called my boss by his first name.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the same over here.
I think the only time I've ever used Mister in in this point in time is when I'm talking about an adult. Fucking shit, when was the last time I used Mister? I guess when I was talking about one of our professors back in college. To, like, another student actively while we were in college. Because even now, like, I'll just use their first name when I'm talking to, like, Atin and knows about our college days. Or their last name, depending on what basically they were known by, effectively. Like, if everyone just called someone, Smith, you just called them Smith. Even though, their first name was, like, Avery or whatever. It's like, he's Smith. Everyone knows him as Smith. He's called Smith. Everyone calls him Smith. Let's call him Smith.
Yeah.
But that's just my my 5 cents. Robinson closed his eyes and smiled. Heh, bro, haven't been called that in forever. He scratched the back of his head. Appreciate it. Anyways, if you excuse me, I need to go grade some papers. Take care. He turned around and walked away. Ford stood under the cleaning room's door frame as he opened the Ziploc bag and looked at Robinson as he walked away. And what Robinson said made some sense to Ford. He's short, he's losing hair, he's wearing glasses, no ring on left hand, which means he's not married. Probably never was. Not muscular, good looking, science teacher, probably still lives with his mom. Got no friends either. That's just sad. He took a deep breath, opened the sandwich, took a sniff. Smells like tuna. Took a bite. Took a salad. He walked into the room. Awesome. Alright, so you haven't gotten to the ghost story bit yet. I will say now, I like the opening, I like the build-up, but I will say, I'm not sure how long you think Chapter 1's gonna be, but you're currently sitting around 1,400 words. I would recommend, even if it's a sort of retroactive thing, you start to try and slide some of the ooky spooky stuff in. That's chapter 1. Ah. See.
Alright then.
I'm currently doing the early draft of chapter 5 right now. Okay, so this is all of chapter 1. I see. I'm not gonna suddenly send you to 4 chapters, my dude. That'd be too fucking boring. Yeah, I mean, no, you're right. Also, I typically only read chapter 1 of things. I use Mr. pretty frequently, but that's because it's polite enough. Also, usually you're talking to NCOs and officers. Yeah, well, that's just army things, Isley. That's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then my criticism would be for chapter 1 is there is no hook in your chapter 1. That would be my criticism for your chapter 1. All in all, the grammar is more or less fine. I mean, you got some he-saids in there that don't really need to be there, but I'm not going to complain about that too much because that's mostly up to author preference. But the main and pretty much only complaint in chapter 1 is that there is a lack of hook. There's nothing in chapter 1 that makes me go, if I had come into this as a reader going, alright, ghost story time, and I read chapter 1, I would be confused. Because I'd be like, so where's the ghost story part? Which is typically actually why I've actually talked with Orpheus Kidwell before about this in the past, where he's a big proponent of 2K word chapters. 2K words, people don't often realize, is about enough time to set a single scene. And that doesn't give you a lot of leeway to really drop details into that scene. And so, for chapter 1, sitting at 1,400 words, there is a distinct lack of hook in it. I go through this entire chapter 1, and if I didn't know I was supposed to be looking for a ghost story, I would think I'm reading more about
Just a janitor?
No, I would say more like, probably some sort of murder mystery upcoming. Because, we get details about Mr. Robinson. We actually got quite a number of details about Mr. Robinson going on here. So it also got some suspicious details about him becoming a janitor. So if I had gone into this story completely blind, I didn't know, what genre it was going to be, I didn't know what themes it was going to have in it, and if I was asked what I think this story might be, I would say murder mystery. Because that's what chapter 1 says to me. Which, don't get me wrong, you got the mystery part. So that's good. You're halfway there. So unless someone's going to get murdered in this story, you lost me in the second half. Technically the first half, because murder mystery. Metaphors. They're hard.
We know they're hard for you. Don't worry.
And honestly, the worst part is I can't really give advice about how to put a hook in, because there's no real point. I can't really think of any real point that you could slide a ghosty hook in this chapter with how you've structured it. Jin says, for subtle, spooky ghost shit, you could always have the MC notice that things are now in different places, or movement, or etc. Ceiling vomit was not enough to point to something being wrong. No, it was not.
Yeah, no.
Now, if you want to use the ceiling vomit as there is blatantly something weird going on here, you
that's
could...
clearly some ghost shit.
No, not at all. Someone could just puked on the ceiling, like, blah, and shut up. I've seen it before. If my recommendation, if the vomit is supposed to be the ooh, something weird's going on here hook, have him say in his explanation of why it took so long for him to clean up the vomit, be like, I was mopping for a while and that the vomit just wouldn't stop dripping. No matter how many times I wiped off the ceiling tile, there just seemed to be more dripping. And I had to replace the whole damn ceiling tile eventually because for some reason the thing was absolutely soaked. That sort of thing. Because there's no reason why someone puking up, they would be able to coat the ceiling tile true, and yeah, it would drip down, but it wouldn't be so soaked that it would continuously drip down. After being wiped off. So, like, this would be a point where you would try and include details that are just clearly, blatantly incorrect. Because that was way too fucking long, please compromise with me. You write that down and I'll add it. I'm not gonna write it down, man. Look, I'm just trying to offer, ideas for you. I'm not saying how your story should be written. I'm firmly putting that in your camp. If you want to go back and modify it, that's up to you. Crap, it's time to wing it. Absolutely. But yeah, you don't have to go with just the vomit. You can also include other details in there. I don't know if Robinson living with his mother was supposed to be a ghosty, spooky ooky thing, or whatever. But you can have when he's talking about his job and how quickly they hired him without any sort of normal federal requirements of ID and shit. You can have talk about how the job was in the newspaper or wherever you wanted him to find that ad. It was in there for a long time, despite it disappearing multiple times. It always came back soon after. Or the teachers during when he's walking by the teachers lounge and they're talking about like the old janitor. You can have him overhearing, the teachers were talking about how they constantly went through janitors ever since that old reliable janitor they had left. There's various things. Oh, that was sarcasm. Fuck your advice, you're wrong, and I won't apply anything you say. Like I say, man, it's totally up to you. My guy. I'm just throwing shit out there, and you can choose what sticks. You can have the teachers talk about how they've gone through a lot of janitors. You can have him mention, about how the ad kept reappearing. You can elaborate on the vomit scene. There's a bunch of things you can do. You can do one of them, you can do two of them, you can do all of them, you can make up more scenes, little things that don't require you additional writing too much, but just add a little bit to the scene of however, when he sleeps there at night, he's always got an unsettling feeling, but he just chalks that up to the fact that he's sleeping in a school, or there's a whole bunch of little details you can sprinkle in. It's sort of like salt on a steak, You're sprinkling that salt on that steak. You're not fucking coating that steak. It's just a little bit of sprinkle. Just to add that little bit of flavor. But that's my 10 cents.
A lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's always why I do get annoyed at a fair amount of these amateur authors, because there's a lot of things that are just easy, quick fixes that make their ridiculous idea work, as long as they just caveat it correctly. Like,
But they don't do that.
But they don't do it, and it's not like you really got to put a lot of thought into it. And then what I'm not talking about you, Caesar. I'm talking about these ridiculous ideas, the shit that we cover here, where there is these absolutely fucking outlandish ideas that if they had just caveated it correctly, without much effort involved on their part either, I'd be more willing to sit there and be like, all right, fine, I'll suspend my disbelief. But they don't, so I get angry. Yeah, waking up cold even when the heating's blasting on, yeah. How dare you call me an amateur? I'm a professional. I draw my own scenes. That's fair enough, Tension. You're correct. You get paid for your work. You're a damn professional.
True.
Big true. The biggest of trues.
Like him, Raiden. You gotta admit, he do be spitting facts.
Alright, so Aaron has done us the amazing features of linking a whole bunch of garbage to us. And goddamn, what the fucking actual shit did I just get here? How I guess a second gender hired at one point it didn't last too long for some reason. However, who got drunk at times or didn't care. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's good stuff. You know, weird smells, that's always a great one to include. You know, say maybe he's smelling something weird in the janitor's room, but he can never figure out which product wasn't sealed correctly that's leaking out that smell, no matter how many times he checks. You know, that sort of stuff. Little bits here and there. You don't have to be openly obvious about it. You don't have to ever call attention to it. But as long as you just sprinkle it in. Better story. And it doesn't require a lot of effort.
I'd argue it requires quite a bit of effort.
Okay, it requires the brain power to comprehend it, and you know, obviously, it's not something I expect people who are, you know, just starting writing, or even, you know, unpublished writers. Let's go with that one to be generous. It's not something I expect unpublished writers to really know about, but at the same time, you know. Thanks for the criticism. Gonna be off and on adding them. Now to the cringe, because people in call are getting bored. You're right, the people in call are getting bored. They're a bunch of useless fucks who only stick around to get caused pain by me.
I'm fucking giving some commentary. Fuck off, Sneaky.
I don't really have anything to add, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's also that.
Yeah, I was just saying, Sneaky's adding everything there is to add, so...
Sneaky's actually very good at giving advice for these kinds of things.
Yeah, I've only spent like the past 12 years creating characters, writing up backstories, and organizing entire themes. Yeah, don't worry about it.
If you ever need to know how to write this shit, go to Sneaky, because he will be honest with you. I should know.
So we got the Godly Guide to Writing Fanfiction, which I am sure Max Force is pumped as shit to hear about.
Don't drag me into this.
In which Aish Shava, Zoe Nightshade, Thea47, and Storm Bryan go interview the Percy Jackson gods for tips about writing. Featuring Apollo on characters, Athena on the plot, Ares with the cliches, Aphrodite and Artemis debating about romance, and more. There
Why the
needs
fuck
to
is
be a
Artemis
V2 of
debating
this
on
story
romance?
because it's garbage. This is a humor story, which means you're not going to laugh once during it. 12,000 words, 9 chapters, updated between the time periods of February 1st and March 3rd. Very impressive, author. 107 favorites and 36 follows, which means the story was basically dead for the time period that it published in, and it only got as many favorites as it did over the following 12 years.
Yep. High quality, eh?
They stood
Very
on
high
the
quality.
walkway, staring out at the scene before them. Olympus was cloaked in the soft morning light, and 600 floors below them, Manhattan glowed pink. It's 7:30 in the morning, Sheva grumbled. Apollo is so lazy. It's beautiful, though. I mean, look at that. She herself does not look at the scene below them, but opens up her camera bag and starts treating the macro lens currently attached to her camera for a wide angle lens. So who the fuck is she? So this author is going to sit here and give advice about writing a story when they forget to even introduce their characters before they start using pronouns for them.
Yeah, I thought you would appreciate the irony of this story.
This story is very ironic, I will say. Apollo took this personally and smote the bitch. Big true.
Yeah, I
No!
wish.
Shiva said firmly. Our appointment is in 10 minutes! We don't have the time! To take a second.
Do what?
They don't have the time to take a second and look at the sunrise. Okay.
Fuck the sun. We're
Fuck
writing.
the sun. All my homies hate the sun.
True.
Move! Zoe Nightshade advised, kicking Storm in the knee. Jesus fucking Christ, that... Ow!
Why would you go for the knee?
Fuck!
Wow. Women.
There snickered. Jesus Christ, someone, let's see, did they have anyone on Spag? Let's see, characters,
Nope.
plot, setting, crease... Oh, they do have someone on Spag. Unfortunate.
Yeah,
They
clearly
apparently
they're
already failed
sleeping.
their job.
Yeah, that god already failed at their job, apparently. There, snickered, and Storm frowned at her. Frowned? Bitch, you just got kicked full frontal in the goddamn knee! If you're not reflexively cringing in pain, you need to go to a doctor.
Yeah.
I'm cringing in pain like we're cringing at the story.
Why did we bring you again? Because I'm awesome. Duh. Thea blinked a few times, and Storm laughed. Kidding. Who the fuck said any of this? Like, who said this? Who's talking?
They.
They are. Yes, you're right. They are talking.
The voices. They're in my head.
Yeah, apparently Mume
Get out
is
of my head,
fucking
get out of my head.
hallucinating.
Get out of my head, get out of my head, get out of my head.
I don't know if you guys heard about that at all.
Yeah.
We have entered full schizophrenic hours.
Mume...
Who's hallucinating now?
Yeah, Mume was telling a story about how she hallucinated an entire conversation with Crony, and then realized that she wasn't even in voice on Discord.
How? Mume, please.
Oh, I see. Did you see
Rumors.
the thing where they started, where
They did?
Mume and Gur were talking to each other, and they're just like, what if we just do our best to sound like it's like, no, stop, so many people are gonna get so confused.
Wait, what if they did their best to what?
Sound like each other.
They did impressions of each other.
Oh god. Oh yeah, I remember that part. Yeah, yeah. Mume did sound like Gura when she said "fucking Angus beef."
Oh yeah. Well, also when they started going, what?
Yeah, that was yeah.
God damn it.
Part of that might have been a My Little Pony reference, and I'm deeply disturbed that I recognize that. I wouldn't know. Mume and
You
Gura
should
sound
be.
alike if they try. Damn straight they sound alike if they try. I hear
Yeah.
voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me, they said. Told me. They. Anyway, so, the 4 writers tried to hurry, but once they reached the market, hurry seemed like lost cause. Well, so did the grammar.
Well, when you're hurrying, you don't tend to worry about grammar.
Indeed. To their credit, they did not let Thea try Nectar or Zoe buy Artemis poster. Look, Shiva pointed. It's kosher ambrosia.
It's what?
It's white. What? Ambrosia's.
Hey
Ambrosia's
guys,
not
did you
meat.
know that ambrosia's gluten-free? Vegan?
It's literally god food. It doesn't have nutrition. It just heals
It's
you.
vegan too?
It's a
All
fucking
natural?
healing potion. It's a fucking healing potion that they called ambrosia instead. You could literally have it on a hot bar if you had a Percy Jackson game.
I'm just throwing this out there, but I would fucking laugh my ass off if it doesn't even have to be Percy Jackson. I just want someone at some point to be like about to be like they're dying and someone's about to feed them like a healing potion, and they have to like be like, "No, is it vegan?"
I mean, at that point, you just let the fucker die. You just let the fucker die. You just let the fucker die.
No, Sneaky. Wait, was this ambrosia sustainably sourced?
What is sustainably sourced?
It doesn't include animal products.
Traded under fair trade agreements.
Bro, it's a healing potion.
Are you
Does it
sure
have sales
that the
tax?
correct taxes and duties were paid to support the U.S. economy?
Was the VAT tax paid?
Oh god. I mean,
Why
we
do you
joke,
care
but the
so much
government would
about
ironically do that.
Why do you care so much about taxes? Wait a minute. Only federal agents care about taxes.
Wait a minute, you're a fan!
No, even better. Wait a minute. Your next words are, is it kosher? Is it How did you know?
The fucking Havana Gila starts playing in the background. God damn it.
No! Zoe then promptly stopped to admire a red Sharpie that would burn the words you wrote into the mind of whoever
Sneaky.
fanfiction you just edited.
Would ambrosia be haram or halal?
It would definitely be halal.
Alright,
It's a fucking healing potion.
Yes, but was it sustainably slaughtered?
Did they drain the blood before they fucking
Murked it?
prepared it? Yeah.
I don't
Come on,
think it matters.
Well, clearly you're haram.
Yeah,
Yes.
true. Nose hair's racist? What the hell?
Yeah, Nosehair's fucking racist, goddamn.
That Jewish bastard.
Cancelled.
No, in my defense, Nosehair is both the spawn of unclean loins and a bastard and Jewish, so.
And a
Use you. Use you.
You Jewish bastard! Wow! In my defense, he is the spawn of unclean loins and a bastard!
Oh, that was not what I intended.
Alright, who's clipping it? Who's clipping it?
Oh.
You brought this upon yourself. You brought this upon yourself.
Oh.
May Constantinople judge you fairly. Council of Nicaea. The Council of Nicaea will judge your fate.
We'll
call a new one.
I'm sick and high on NyQuil. That's my excuse.
How the fuck do you get high on NyQuil? No, you're not allowed to use that fucking excuse. Shut the fuck up.
Look, I'm only racist against the Jews when I'm high on NyQuil.
How the fuck do you get high on NyQuil? How many fucking capfuls, spoonfuls of you fucking have of NyQuil?
The entire damn bottle!
Okay, well then...
No, like, real talk, I have been having to... my nose has been, like, running non-stop. I've had a lot of drugs today.
Why don't you just have a single one before you just have a single thing of NyQuil? You don't fucking down the whole bottle when you're sniffling.
Man,
you take a single
NyQuil made him racist. NyQuil has now been canceled.
Take a single fucking, like, dose, and then you blow your nose for the rest of the day. It's not that hard.
No, you take them all and hope it fixes the problem.
No!
Oh, God.
Also, you'll note Nosehair didn't deny any of my statements.
That's fair. That's a fair statement. You're correct. He did not deny any of it. Big true.
Nose is now sitting here realizing what he's done.
Born of unclean loins and also a bastard.
I just didn't want to comment on it because commenting on it would draw more attention to it.
The clip has been made.
Please don't.
That was so good.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Amazing. Thanks, Zora. Nosehair's racist? What the hell?
God
yeah,
damn it.
Fucking racist.
Congratulations, Atin. You have your
that
first
was
entry
not
in the
what
book.
I meant to do.
You have your first entry in the book.
Oh, that's nowhere near his first entry.
No.
I was gonna say, I've got a lot more than one entry.
Yeah, you do.
Boy. No, in my defense, Nosehair is both.
You've definitely got a few, especially after the Warhammer 3 campaign.
Jewish, so.
Use you. Use you.
You Jewish bastard! Wow! In my defense, he is the spawn of unclean loins and a bastard. That's getting pinned. I'm sorry, but that's getting pinned. No, ma'am, I swear I didn't wear the swastika willingly. NyQuil made me wear it.
I gotta find a way. I need the Facebook option for I'm in this picture and I don't like it.
I made this quote and I would like to be removed.
I would like it to be forgotten.
I'm more concerned about the fact that you fucking downed a bottle of NyQuil.
I did not down a bottle of NyQuil. I have, however, had a large amount of drugs.
Guys, we have 6 minutes. Storm checked her watch, and again, they rushed off. Where are we going exactly, Thea asked. Well,
no, Sneaky, we have 3 minutes.
I typed it in the map quest. Shiva pulled a neatly folded paper out of her pocket.
Map quest?
I haven't heard that name in years.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that name in years. Jesus.
Yeah, this is the 2010 story.
Quote by blurred due to request.
I mean, I'll take it, I guess.
Turn right at the edge of the market next to the t-shirt stall. They did, followed by the instructions winding down a road towards a small dinky building, quite outclassed by the marble surrounding it. You think the gods would have a nicer briefing room, Zoe mumbled. They don't do interviews much, Shiva acknowledged, but this is a crisis. Me and Shiva... Bruh. You're really gonna sit here and try and give us lessons on grammar, and you straight shit started a sentence with me and Shiva. Okay.
Amazing.
While Thea and Zoe talk the plot with Athena, we know Zoe snapped. You told us like 50 times on the way up, not to mention dozens of PMs, 23 text messages, and 7 reminder calls. Storm wasn't convinced. Remember to write everything down, Thea. Oh my gods, I know. Oh my god, shut up.
Yeah, this is definitely a 2010 story. Shut up.
2020 story. All right.
Shut up.
This post.
I mean, it's a 2020 story, but it's being ironic.
That meme's too good.
And Shiva, remember to ask Apollo. Storm, you're getting annoying. We've been through this. Shiva snapped. Come on. Somewhat annoyed. Under no circumstances could they ever screw this up. Storm just double-checked to make sure she had her own netbook. Yeah, feels like a 2010 story.
A netbook.
Netbook.
By Sigmar.
We just
We're
called
exactly
those Chromebooks
1 minute
nowadays.
early. Everyone ignored her and Thea knocked on the wooden door. Coming up, Apollo will discuss characters and Shiva will disagree with his football team. I just really want to see Demeter on grammar. I like that. I like that the author is making fun of really bad grammar in this story. With this little section.
Ironic.
Right here. It's ironic because they have fucking awful grammar.
Now, here's where we find out it's the ultimate meta joke, and they're going to roast their own grammar.
God, I wish.
Oh, god damn it.
I mean, I'll give credit where it's due. They are getting the correct bits. They're just not connecting them all, you know? It's like the person that puts the circle in the square hole, and the triangle in the square hole, and the half circle in the square hole. It's like, yes, technically speaking, they all fit in the square hole, but that's not the point of the exercise. But they're at least getting them in a hole, you know? But, this is embarrassing, I will say. The fact that they didn't take this down.
Rude.
Wonderful. This was witty, instructional, and hugely hilarious, and much needed. It could use a little grammar and spelling. Yeah, no fucking shit, could it? But it didn't interfere with the comprehension. Great job. Fanfiction Q old could use more stories like this. There's something ironic in that statement.
There's a lot of things ironic in that statement.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Mac stands for most awesome computer, and PC stands for piece of crap. Yeah, you can tell this was written in the 2010s.
2011. Bro.
Well, no, the review's from 2011, but the story's from 2010.
True.
Wow. This is just embarrassing. Awful. Aged poorly, some might even say.
Aged like milk.
Yeah. So anyway, here's Rainbow Rattata.
Oh yeah, this guy.
Interesting. It's a poem where the child gets aborted at the end of it. It's a pro-life abortion poem.
Yep.
Fascinating.
Really amazing.
We got another cringy poem. All girls should copy and paste this one. Uh-huh.
How bad?
Basically, it's a girl jacking herself off about how amazing she is, that no man is willing to ask her out, not because she has negative qualities, but because she is just so amazing that men live in fear of being rejected by her.
Yep.
Yep. I am... Wow, and then we finish this off with a MySpace Friendster comments.
Oh god.
Also, this whole copy pasta, by Twitch's terms of service, I am not allowed to read out loud.
Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah, no. Let's go ahead and get that off the screen.
Yep. So, that was a profile. Was there any other good profiles here?
A couple. Mostly older stuff, because that's where the rabbit hole led me today.
That's fair. Profile updated 2010. Okay. Hello, people of Earth and other planets. If you read this, I am the Fish Pony. My real name, if I had to pick one, I would tell you it's Tanya or Ash. If Ash could be a girl name, yes, Ash is a good name, but you can call me Fish Pony. Yeah. Sounds like a female author, all right.
Yep.
I love PJO, Hunger Games, and a bunch of other books. Sounds like a female author, all right. Margaret Peterson's Haddix is my favorite author, never given credit. And I actually do read classics like Gulliver's Travels, Alice in Wonderland, and Jungle Book. Oh, nice. Alright, fair enough. Wait and see! One day the meaning of life will be found in Alice in Wonderland. That's... No. It's hidden in the code between the Mad Hatter and Cesare. I spelt that right, did I? Cat. Greek mythology is also something I like to call awesome. Greek mythology is not awesome. I mean, it's awesome in the old term of awesome, which was more, I'm living in absolute terror awesome. I'll give you that. It was definitely, that. But Greek mythology was not awesome. Mythology was pretty fucked up.
Greek mythology was kind of one of the worst things to experience.
Magic, fantasy, and people with superpowers. What more could you want? There was a gratuitous amount of rape, murder, rape, murder.
But Sneaky.
Sneaky, don't forget bestiality. Don't forget that.
Yeah, well, you're right. Female author, my bad.
Let's see, what else are we forgetting? Oh, Sneaky. There's pissing off some kind of unknowable, unfathomable deity by just being good looking, and so then being cursed for all time. Like, listen, you know what? In
What
that
the fuck?
story, if that girl was
Oh.
as pretty and awesome as she thinks, I'm pretty sure she's heading for cursing in Greek times.
Yep.
You're headed for a cursing, boy.
I mean, it wasn't what I was looking for, but it was damn good. Ladies, if you ever feel bad about yourself, just remember that Bella from Twilight had the personality of a LaCroix and still had 2 boys fighting over her. So if you don't have that, then you must suck pretty badly.
True.
The fuck? I am so beyond confused just
Why
looking
is
at
the
this.
Twilight fan? Oh yeah, so to anyone not aware of Twilight, Twilight got fucking weird.
Mute
Twilight
now.
got fucking weird. So anyway, so the plot of Twilight, the first book, is called Twilight. is Bella, the personality-less girl who is the stand-in for every female reading the story, is stalked by an incredibly rich, good-looking guy who breaks into her house and watches her sleep. And this is okay because he's rich and good-looking and is in love with her, which means it's okay, you see. And then at the end of the book, they break up, and the next book, New Moon, I believe the next book was New Moon, whatever. So one of the next books, New Moon, Bella and Edward break up, and she starts dating this guy called Jacob, who's madly in love with her, and also secretly not a werewolf, but basically a werewolf. He can turn into a giant wolf. But he's not a werewolf. He's madly in love with her, and at the end they decide to break up again, and she gets back together with Edward. And then in the final book, her and Edward had sex, right? And
oh my god.
This is honestly the best thing I've ever fucking seen in my life. So basically, vampires in the Twilight series are quote unquote stone cold, like literally as cold as stone, because they're dead, but their vampire origins preserve them or some shit, right?
I mean, to be fair, that's not unusual for like vampire stuff. Like, oh yeah, they're dead, so they are right. They are at best room temperature.
Right. So, but they're stone cold in this series, and so Bella and Edward were having sex in a hot tub, and because hot tubs are hot, it heated up Edward's balls, so his sperm thawed, and they had the sex in the hot tub. The sperm left his balls and got Bella pregnant with a half-vampire child. Because his sperm was cryogenically frozen.
Can I be excused from life?
It Unfortunately, gets worse. No. So then it's revealed that the reason why Jacob was madly in love with Bella was because actually he was madly in love with the embryo inside Bella.
That's questionable statement.
Because his species mates for life, and they have what's called a soul bond, where upon meeting the person they're going to mate for life with, they become slavishly loyal to them. And he apparently became slavishly loyal to one of Bella's eggs, which ended up getting fertilized by Edward's unfrozen sperm. And that ended up being Renesmee, the half-vampire baby. Who, if I'm remembering the story correctly, went full alien and exploded out of her stomach. Like half-grown as a child already.
And why didn't she, fucking die?
Oh, because she got turned into a vampire. Bella did.
Of course.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
By Sigmar, that's cringe.
Yeah. And then Jacob shows up and he's like, oh my god, I never loved Bella at all. I actually loved Renesmee this whole time. Hey Bella, I'm just gonna casually be an adult figure in Renesmee's entire life, and I'll be her father at first, and then when she gets old enough to have sex with me, we'll become married. And Bella goes, oh, okay, I trust you, Jacob. And then, yeah.
That was a bad idea.
This is just a story full of bad decisions from stupid people.
And and honestly, Twilight. When I finished reading the series, I was just like, what the fuck did I just read?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to question why you actually finished the series.
Because I typically like to read things if I'm going to insult them.
Alright, fair enough.
Yeah. And so I was sitting there, I was just like, this started off as like this really like creepy YA romance, young woman's romance novel, and this just went really, really quickly from like 0 to 700.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you react when your ex-boyfriend shows up and declares that he secretly loved the egg inside of you all along, and that the daughter you just gave birth to was actually his true love, and that he's going to raise her as a father figure until she's old enough to have sex with him at the age of 18?
Yeah, there's a term for that. It's called grooming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
That's haram. Well, actually, maybe not. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember they used the fake baby. Yeah, that was a weird fucking baby.
Oh god.
That was a weird fucking baby. That was weird. Now correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the actor of Bella end up becoming obsessed with the actor of Twilight and like actually stalk him?
Maybe.
I have to remember that. But yeah, that's your Twilight was a fucking ride, man.
Yeah. Glad I never read it.
I don't even know what the fuck.
Yeah.
To say
Also,
about it.
Stephanie Meyer was apparently extremely based.
I have no idea what the fuck to say to this Twilight bullshit.
Stephanie Meyer changed Quillette legends and beliefs to fit her narrative, gave animalistic and abusive traits to her Native American characters, reinforced the savage uncontrollable stereotype, made the pure, quote-unquote, white vampires constantly insult and antagonize the Native American werewolves reservation who they lived on for no reason, and generally wrote some pretty racist stuff about Native Americans. Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
Amazing.
Oh yeah, and by the way, yes, all of the Native Americans in her story did in fact live on a reservation.
Good.
Yeah, and 50 Shades of Grey started as a Twilight fan fiction, yeah, where Edward was some sort of like abusive rich guy instead, or something. Yeah, it's why I'm saying, like, if you're gonna go through the effort of writing a story so departured from the original, just fucking post it. 50 Shades of Grey did exactly that. They just removed all the references to Twilight in their story, and they posted it as an original story, and they made so much fucking money. All this effort that people put into these, like, super mega departures, original takes on the Naruto fandom and shit like that, just fucking post it as a published story. You might actually get paid. Anyway.
Publishing stories is hard.
It's really not. It's actually easier to publish a story than to write one.
Yeah, because you actually can just say, well, this is how the universe works in your own original fiction.
Well, I mean, that, and you can literally put out a pile of crap if you're willing to pay a few fees on certain publishing sites.
Yeah.
Because you can just self-publish.
Yeah. She also wrote a gender bent version. Yeah, I'm aware, but she actually wrote the gender bent version of Twilight in response to the gender bent version of 50 Shades of Grey.
What is it, like a thought piece?
No, as in like I'm desperately trying to regain control of my fandom and stay relevant thing. It didn't work because, as it turns out, that audience isn't interested in it. Turns out a lot of guys aren't really interested in reading a story about how a woman stalks them and breaks into their room when they're sleeping.
Yeah.
And sniffs their clothes and fantasizes about drinking their blood. Turns out a lot of guys are just not into that.
Well, there's some guys
Weird.
They're weird.
Yeah, the key word was a lot there, Nose.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's...
In other news, I'm now a harsh constructive criticismer. Wow, I have to say, a couple months ago, I never thought I would be harsh at being constructively criticizing someone. Why am I doing it now? It's because I can no longer stand the out-of-character Percy times Annabeth, the Mary Sues, everyone dating Nico, complete cliches, and all the other crap found in the Percy Jackson fandom. Why do I hate this stuff now? The creativity, grammar, and spelling of the Percy Jackson fandom has gone downhill. Yeah? There's a total disrespect going on of everything that's good and canon.
Oh no.
Yeah? Yeah? I'm glad you're coming around to my point of view, author. Chat speak, pointless bolding, italics on everything that's not sarcasm, and underlining of random words. Yeah. In my reviews, I will list out all of the things that I think you can do to improve your story. If I list more than 4, you know you have done something wrong. If I list more than 6 things, well, I think you can guess where I'm going with this. If I do not use a list and review it, that means your story was either crazy awesome or an epic fail. 2010 lingo.
Oh.
That's 2010
Wow,
lingo.
those are some.
That's some 2010 lingo.
Not only is that some 2010 lingo, if it's not on this list, it's either amazing or absolute trash. Well, gee,
No,
maybe
she said
you should be more specific.
if I'm not listing things wrong with your story and I leave a review, she said. Which still is a 50-50, but I mean, if she's leaving a review and saying, Jesus Christ, your story is so shit, I don't know where to begin, you can make the educated guess that she's probably not a fan. I always finish my reviews with the words, the end, because that's the end of the discussion. Unless you want us to have a conversation afterwards. Please take into consideration my reviews and use readable grammar and spelling. I appreciate the English language. The end. Hunger Games Addicts copy paste prayer.
Fucking whiplash, dude.
The fucking whiplash.
Oh my god.
Oh, holy shit. Alright, gentlemen. Let's close it up here. We've had our fun for the night. Alright, ladies and gents, we'll see you all on Tuesday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because there is always more, and it always gets worse.